Hello, it's attorney Heather Ward with Meredith Nagel and the Legacy Legal Team. I'm here today to talk to you guys about something that actually came up in my personal life recently that overlapped with work for me. So, most of my friends know that I'm an estate planning attorney. That's what I do every day. And I had a friend from college actually reach out and say, "Hey, Heather, my husband and I are about to go on this great trip for my birthday, and we're going to leave our infant daughter with my parent so that she's taken care of and we can go to kind of do our own thing. It's their first trip since they went on their honeymoon and since they had their baby." So they were very excited about it. But of course, we're worried about their daughter. And so I was able to do some planning for them, but unfortunately, it was like too close to the trip. So that's kind of why I wanted to hop on here and talk to you guys about the options and what we can do and the importance of them. So at our office, we can prepare what we call our child safety system. I think that anybody that has minor children should have this entire system. Most people, think, okay, well, I already know I want my parents to be in charge of my child. So I know that's just what's going to happen naturally. And I've already named either my child as my beneficiary on everything, like my IRA, my 401k, or I've named the person that's, I want to take care of them on those things. And I know that they'll use that money for them. So many issues with that from my point of view as an attorney because I see the worst case. It might work out how you want it to, but we don't want to chance that when it comes to your kids. So instead, what we like to do is do a revocable living trust that you put all your assets into. And if something happens to you and your, well, I guess not even really even your spouse, it could be just you. If you keep your assets separate, we set up a trust that says, when I pass away, this is what I want to happen to my things. It's going to go to my child. What we really like about a trust is that we can put age restrictions. So, most of the time, we're not wanting an 18-year-old to inherit a bunch of money. So, like if you had a good chunk of money in your IRA or 401k, you're not going to want all of that going to them outright when they turn 18. They're not going to be responsible with that amount of money. I look back at what I was doing at 18, and I was a fairly responsible 18-year-old. I did not know what I was doing with money. So we don't like that. So instead, in a trust, we usually say around 25 or 30 that they inherit money outright. But before then, the money can still be used for their education, their health, their support, all of the things that they would need and that you'd want them to have. But there's somebody overseeing that money. So obviously, that takes care of the asset portion. But what's really great about using a trust is that we can kind of separate roles for who's in charge of what for your minor child if something was to happen to you. So, for example, sometimes it's best to have a separate person in charge of money and a separate person to have day to day control of the children. We have seen before where, kids have now turned 18 or 21 or whatever age, and they say, you know what? I know mom and dad left me $1 million in their trust, and now you're telling me nothing's here anymore. And then their guardian's like, well, I had to use it, for your school, or we used it to buy you a car, or whatever it might be. You have different people named as the guardian and the trustee of your trust who's in charge of that money. There's two people involved in that decision making. So there's not any animosity toward the person that was put in charge of taking care of your children on day to day. So that really helps keep everybody happy and on the same page while taking care of the children in the best way possible. And so then along that line, we also do appointment of guardians. And so what's really important that we do, obviously, is the long-term guardian. If God forbid something happens to you and the child's other parent, this is the person or people that you'd want to be the ones taking care of your kids until they reach the age of 18 or until they move out or whatever. We name first choice, second choice, third choice, as many choices as you want down the line in case the people you've named aren't willing or able to. But what I think is even cooler is the appointment of a temporary guardian. So, for example, I live in New Hampshire. If I had a child, my parents are still in Florida. And if I want them to be the guardians, they'll be here as quick as they can, trust me. But there's still that lapse of time in between. So in Florida, if that guardian is not readily available to come pick up the children, they're actually taken into temporary custody by DCF, which is not something anybody wants to happen to their children, especially when they're already traumatized because something has happened to their parents. So we do an appointment of a temporary guardian that we name local people for, and we name as many people as possible on this document, neighbors, friends, their friends' parents, your extended family, whoever you can name on that document that you trust to take care of your kids temporarily until the person you really want to be in charge, we put them on this document. And we make sure that they have copies of that document that says, I have the authority to take care of them until their long-term guardian gets here. And we also, depending on your circumstances and what's going on in your life, we can do a confidential exclusion to keep people from becoming guardians. So if you have somebody in your family that you really do not want to be the guardian under any circumstances and you have reasoning for that, we go ahead and record that. We have you sign and do a document that says this is who I don't want to be a guardian and why. That never gets released to the public or anything like that. And we don't record it like we do our other guardian documents. Instead, we retain that. And, you make sure that people know that you've done something like that. And then we give that directly to the court if that person is trying to become a guardian. And they have to follow your wishes unless there's some reason not to. So obviously, we take care of the money. We take care of who's going to be the permanent and temporary guardians of your children. And then we also do, which is something that I was able to do for my friend, is putting somebody in charge of making healthcare decisions for your child. So again, we name as many people as we can on this document so that if you're out of town and can't be reached, or if, God forbid, you're all in a car accident together or whatever it might be, and you're not able to make that decision anymore yourself, you go ahead and name who you're comfortable making medical decisions and having access to medical records for your children. So we really think all of that's important. We also include letters to your guardian. So it's really important for parents to know that if something was to happen to them, that their children are still going to be raised in as close to the same way as they would have raised them themselves. So we help you prepare letters to your guardians that say, these are the things that are important to me, and this is how I want my child or children to be raised. So we walk through, your values, your religious beliefs, how you want them to be taught about money, what type of school you want them to be in, whether that's public or private, their extracurriculars you want to be encouraged in. If art is something that you really want to be instilled in your child, we talk through that. Really, it's a really in-depth PDF that we can go through with you or that you can do yourself. And I've even had clients where they say, you know what, this is too much to think about. I don't care this much. I trust the person implicitly that I've named as my guardian. Instead, I want to write my personal letter to them saying, like, thank you for doing this. Like, you're doing the unthinkable for me. Or they might even want to write letters to their children. We kind of help you through all of that. And because this is obviously something nobody wants to think about. This is a worst case scenario. You are dying and leaving your kids with somebody else. Nobody wants to think about that. But we're kind of here to hold your hand and guide you through it and make sure that what you have in place is exactly how you would want them to be taken care of. So that's kind of a weight off of your shoulders so that you do know that if the unthinkable happens, um, they're going to be okay. It'll be hard, but they're going to be okay. So, yeah, like I said, I wish I could have helped my friend more. She's going to come back to me another day and get all of this done properly. But I really encourage anybody that has minor children, whether it's a newborn or, 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old, they're still minors and you still probably don't want them to even get the money even when they turn 18. You don't have to worry as much about the guardian issue, but you still are going to want to talk to them about, the money portion. And then even when they turn 18, you're going to want them to get their own healthcare documents and things like that. So I really encourage you, if you have children, to give us a call. You'll be able to meet with me for free to talk through all of this and your options. And we really like to cater toward each family, whether it's because, different family structures, different beliefs, different cultures, different whatever it might be. We customize all of this to you to make sure that it's exactly what you want and that your children are taken care of exactly as you would want them to be. So I really hope to hear from some of you soon. You can give us a call at 352-394-7408, or you can find us on the internet at mnagellaw.com. We do have offices in Claremont, where our main office is, as well as the Villages, Wildwood area, and Winter Garden. And then we take virtual appointments. So, especially, my younger families, we do Zoom, we do Teams, we do all the things that you can do to where you don't even have to come to the office to do anything until it's time to sign. So, I really encourage you, reach out. I'm really happy that I was able to talk to you guys about this today, and I hope to hear from some of you soon. Have a good day.